When I was 2 years old, I got affected by polio. I had fever one day, and by the next morning, my body had become like this. My mother tried very hard to get me treated, but it did not work. I did go for treatment to many places, but nothing helped. I did not use a caliper or things like that. I have been like this all these years. I have been a floor walker. I do have my own vehicle. I avoid getting down too often and use my vehicle to go everywhere. I have been a floor walker since my childhood. I have barely used the bus in my life. When I was in class 7, I got my first cycle. Since then, I have always had my own vehicle. I finished second year of BCom and then discontinued. As I mentioned earlier, after class 7, I used to travel in my own vehicle. Before that, my mother had hired a person to pick me up and drop me from school in his cycle, and he would get paid a certain amount every month. After that, in class 7, I got a tricycle from the government. So until SSLC, I used that tricycle. Even during my PUC, I took the same tricycle. It was only when I joined my undergraduation course that I bought a vehicle since the college was a little far from home. I started ITI right after SSLC. It was called RNTV. It was around 25 to 30 kilometers to and fro from my house to the institute. I would go to my evening college after that. Once, one of my lecturers at the institute came to me and told me that there was no point in me coming to the course. He said there is no use of just coming here and sitting. There used to be monthly and weekly exams held, and I would always score 20 and above in all. But that lecturer would keep dissuading me like this. After having pedaled for 30 kilometers every day for 6 months, I would have to face this lecturer who would keep asking me to quit. I felt bad. I quit that course and continued with only my evening PUC college. I also had a screen printing business, so I would take care of that and attend my college. During my summer holidays in school, I used to work in a paint factory near my house. I thought we could use the money to buy my books for school. My first salary was 13 rupees. One day while I was working there, my mother brought me lunch from home. When she saw my condition, she began to cry. She could not see me in those tattered clothes with paint all over. It was that day that I decided that it is better to work for one's own business than to work for someone else. So I attended a 3-day training program and learnt about screen printing. I had not even finished my PUC then. During that time, I had also applied for a telephone booth from the government. I came to know that the booth had got sanctioned. So for the next few years, I managed the telephone booth, the screen printing business, and completed my second year of BCom. When I was going for my typing job, one day, a lady approached me. She saw my condition and offered to get me a better job. I was offered the job of an accounts assistant at a factory near my house. Since I had a commerce background, I took it up and worked there for 2 years. After completing 2 years, they wanted me to sign a contract to become a permanent employee. So, I quit the job. I got back to my business and was involved in it until 2011. One day, someone told me about Enable India. He said they help people like me get jobs and asked me to contact them. When I came here, they placed me in an MNC called Tegutech. I worked there for 1 year. After that, I joined here at Microtech. My job involved the task of loading and unloading from the fiber bins. We had to take these small parts used in drilling machines called drill bits from the fiber bin and load it on the graphite trays for coating. Once it was coated, we had to unload it back to the fiber bins and send it for packing. Enable India made me a leader there and deployed 6 men under my supervision. Similarly now, even at Microtech, I have a team of 6 people under me. They have directed me on how much each one needs to manufacture and what is the estimate production to be targeted. After it is produced here, we have to send it to another company called KTTM that does the assembly. This is my job here. I would like to say this to the other physically challenged people like me. We must not assume that our parents will take care of us and that we can just stay at home. I wish to say that we should all become independent. Find some goal in life. If we have some basic skills, we can find work anywhere. Education is not everything. There are many people without education staying at home. Such people, after they reach a certain age, should learn a vocation for themselves, go out and explore the world outside and stand on their own feet. Parents will not be with us all throughout our lives, right? Therefore, if they become independent, there will not be any problems in the future. Therefore, if they become independent, there will not be any problems in the future.